Welcome to Life Begins at 40. Today's guest is Mr. Vinay Menon, the human streaking on a bike. When you find your passion, then schooling, college, education all seem mundane and trivial. If you're a cyclist looking to unleash the adventurer within, then Vinay Menon, the athlete, the adventurer, explorer, videographer, and craziness is your person to follow. He makes his own bikes to ride into the wilderness, downhill races, jump sessions, trail explorations, whether alone or at various championships or fests. Vinay is the co-founder of Cyanide Bikes. He's an editor of Free Rider Mountain Bike Fact magazine that features stories of bikers from India, Nepal, Bhutan, Sri Lanka, and of course all across the world. Vinay eats, breathes, and lives mountain biking. And I can assure you, he's certainly a catch in his 30s.
So, Vinay, thank you so much for coming on Life Begins at 40. I'm very honored to have you come on my YouTube channel. Even though you're not 40, you are a rather big inspiration. So to start with, you are a psychopath from your early teens and you took it up as a sport not much later. Why does shredding down crazy, no defined parts on a bike thrill you so much?
Pretty much, as a kid, the bicycle was a pretty attractive thing for me. Bicycles and motorcycles, actually. And the first real toy is the bicycle, because other things are like other things with wheels are just, like the Hot Wheels and everything would be really small toys. But the bicycle is like a real machine, and you're having a lot of fun riding a bicycle. So pretty much, I think that's where it started. It was a bike itself that was pretty cool. The simplicity of the machine was what was very interesting, because it wasn't very complex. You look at a bike and you're like, okay, cool, this is what it does, and the amount of fun you can have on a bike was a lot. And especially if you're for an 8-year-old kid, a bicycle is so much fun. So pretty much that's where I think this whole deal with riding bike started. And you also mentioned why do I ride down uncharted trails, right?
Absolutely.
I think you can say it's the uncertainty that's involved with it, that is exciting. Because even if you're riding a trail or a big descent, or if you're jumping a big cliff, even if I've done the same thing multiple times, and there are some of my trails which are more than 15 years old, and 15, 16 years, like 2003 and 4, I used to do those drops, 15 foot cliff drops.
Wow.
Even when now I would go to the same cliff, I would still be nervous, in the sense, I know I can do that drop or that jump or any, ride that steep line, but there's this nervous excitement, that I have when I'm seeing a line which is risky. I know it very well that, okay, fine, I can make it happen. So it's the whole idea of taking calculated risks in mountain biking is what excites me. And so even if you ride the same trail again, it is still exciting, because the uncertainty that's involved in it, it's a lot of fun. It's pretty addictive to ride a mountain bike down the hill.
Absolutely. So do the mountains, every time you go to the same place for the same jump, does the mountain seem different, or is that how the thrill goes? Or
So pretty much, when I'm in Pune, I have a few locations that I would go regularly to do my sessions, and most of these hills I have built a lot of features. And like, say if I need like a big jump, I need to have a takeoff that I need to construct, then I need to have a landing built with mud get like a comfortable landing on that.
Soft
So
land.
pretty much these things I've been doing. I've been building trails and stuff since I was in college. More than like close to like 2 decades from now. So,
Are
but
you
the
that
thing
old?
is, well, on my ID, I am of a certain age, but in my head, I'm still the same, 14-year-old kid who wants to ride a bike on the hill and have fun. Because that's the thing, right? Like the simplicity of riding a bicycle is so much fun. It's just the more you ride, the more you want to ride. So that's one of the things. And so yeah, like even if I go on that same hill, it feels different. Um, because the soil conditions keep changing. Um, the wind conditions keep changing, especially when you're doing like a like a bigger line down the mountain. And I'm not talking about a trail. I'm talking about straight down descents of the hill where there is no trail and it's just going to be a ridge line which is going to take you down the mountain. Most of these exposed lines, they are affected by the wind quite a bit. So if you have even a gust of breeze, you can feel it because it is going to catch you. And and especially when you're jumping, it's a totally different thing, because that's when the wind conditions play a pretty important role when you're doing these jumps and drops. So every time I ride, it's a totally different thing. So even if you're riding a 20-year-old trail, it is still exciting. And yeah, when you're riding a new trail, it's a whole different fun thing, because you have no idea if that obstacle that you're planning to ride, or hurl yourself off, you have no idea if it's 100% dialed. And of course, there is a calculation that has been put into place, and I would be making my decisions based on that. But still, when you ride a new trail, like when I'm out exploring and when I reach some random location and I would build my feature there, places like Spiti or Ladakh or any other place in India, nobody has done that particular feature before. So even I haven't done that feature before. So I cannot really calculate that, okay, how is it going to feel? So it usually goes with the experience that you have. And that excitement is even more because, it's an unknown feature that you have right in front of you. And, you're going to attempt that line. And that excitement is just, yeah, it's just awesome. You need to try to really experience it. That's the thing.
Incredible. So, what are the qualities needed to be a mountain biker?
Qualities as such. The first thing I'd be like, a person who wants to take up the sport. You just need a bicycle, and you need a hill. You don't even need a very big mountain. You just need a basic hill. And any bicycle will be fine. You don't need to have a flashy mountain bike costing a lot of money or anything. A simple bicycle which has decent wheels and has a good amount of braking on it, like you can stop the bike when you want to. That's about it for you to start mountain biking, because that's where I started. In the 90s when I started, I used to ride like very simple bikes, and I used to go to school on the same bike, and then I was like, oh cool, I can go on the hill and play with the same machine. And that's how it started. So qualities, if you go to see, uh, the thing is, most of the qualities a person needs to have in life will actually come into that person with mountain biking. As in, the more you ride, you are going to start getting these kind of things within you. Like, you fall, you got to get up again and ride it. And unless you try, you're not going to know how it's going to feel. And the thing is, these qualities need not be in you before you do this kind of a sport. Not necessarily mountain biking, but any of these high risk sport, any action sport. They have this, they most of these sports that we do, we have this similar kind of a mindset that's required. And I would say not giving up is one of the things that everybody actually has it. It's just that not everybody really implements it in their actions. Because everybody has a fighting spirit. Everybody has the determination, but there are very few who would really put it into practice. And it can be in anything. It can be in mountain biking. It can be in everyday life. But everybody has the thing, and that's the cool thing with mountain biking. It's very simple to do, and anybody can actually do mountain biking. Anybody can actually take up the sport and practice. And then, of course, the more you do it, the more you start getting into it. So as if you go to see, like, you don't really need to have a lot of skills in the initial days when you start the sport. So that's something you learn down the line, and the sport will instill a lot of things within you. So that's like the coolest thing that I've seen with mountain biking. So yeah, that's the thing.
So you say you do your own photography, right? You do your own photography, and
Yes. So
how?
yeah. So pretty much photography for me started off out of necessity, because when I would be riding back in the day with my friends, nobody talking what we were doing. I felt, because I saw other pro athletes do certain things with their bikes, and through the visual medium is what I got attracted to the sport. And for me, that's something that was like, okay, cool. Like, I learned something looking at another person's photograph of riding a bike, and video clips of some other person riding a bike. And I feel, for me and my friends, when we were riding in the early days, the only way we could judge ourselves and see how we are improving was to look at the pictures and the video clips of us doing the features, like, how am I looking on my bike when I'm in the air. So unless I saw myself in those photographs, I wouldn't really know if I'm doing the right thing or wrong. So that's how it started. And eventually, it was so interesting that I started doing more and more of photography, and making more videos and things. And eventually it's turned into a profession where I'm even filming like other athletes in other sports. So in short, it's like, it's either me riding a bike, or it's somebody else riding a bike and I'm filming him. That's what I'm usually doing. So that's where it started off. And this entire thing of, there's this thing that I do called, project solo. Like, I do these projects solo, where I would go to a new location, where just by myself, and a couple of cameras and a few tripods with me, and a lot of batteries. And the thing is, I would usually charge all my cameras and everything the night before I need to go onto that location. And again, even that came out of necessity, because quite a few times I would ask my friends that, okay, let's just go to this location, it's going to be so much fun to ride that hill. But what happens is, everybody is not free that particular day, or
True.
they need to do something else, or something or the other is going on. But for me, it was like, I really want to go and ride there. And if I keep waiting for somebody to join me, and then me going to the hill and everything, that's just going to change everybody's plans. So I was like, okay, let's just do one thing. Let's just like go have fun by myself. So that's where that started. And quite a few features that I hit are like pretty the pretty steep lines and big cliffs and stuff. So I figured it'd be pretty fun if I can document that. And so when I'm doing these solo projects, I would have couple of tripods that I would just go and plant in the locations. I have like a few straps that I would have on the cameras. If I don't want to install the tripod in a certain spot, I would usually just tie the camera onto the bushes and the trees, and have like a rough idea of what area is coming into my frame. I'm usually using wide angle lenses on my cameras, and also a lot of action cameras from multiple brands. So these action cameras, the cool thing is, you don't really need to worry about if it's raining or if it's going to fall off in the wind or anything, because that happens quite a few times, where I have tied the action camera on the tree and here and there on bushes, and I have ridden down that whole line, and I come back to pick up the camera, and I've seen the camera is not there, and it had already gone and it has fallen down the cliff, and then I have to walk down and pick up that camera again. So I never got the shot, but so then I would do that again. So it has happened in many cases where the camera didn't cover anything. Such kind of things happen. So the simple thing will be, I reach a certain location, I would see a certain line, and I feel like, oh, this is such a cool line, I really want to ride this. And I would go mount all my cameras wherever I need to keep them. Then I would go and switch all of them, and then make a run up the hill, just so before the batteries die out or before the cards fill up, I need to reach on top of the hill. So I would switch on all these cameras and then just make a run on top of the hill. So and then ride the line, and then hopefully I have the action captured in all these cameras. So usually the reason I would have multiple angles is, if not one camera, the other camera would at least get it. So that's one of the reasons why I would have multiple cameras set up over there. I've had my DSLR fall down the mountain in many cases, and this is when the camera is rolling and I'm on top of the hill, I can see where my cameras are. If it's on the tripod, I can easily spot my DSLR. But then I have seen the camera fall, but I'm already on top of the hill now, and I just have to be like, oh, whatever, fine. Another camera is there. I'll write down and it'll be captured.
Yeah. So what is the future of the sport, and what do you dream of when you think of mountain biking?
The future of the sport in India, if you had to speak of, it looks pretty interesting. Because a lot of kids are now interested in the sport. They've taken up mountain biking. A lot of kids who are probably just 9-10 years old, and so definitely, that's the right time when the kid is really going to be open to more sports and ideas and everything. And at that age, when the kid gets onto a mountain bike and gets exposure and information of mountain biking, they are going to stick to the sport. And also now it's pretty easy to get information about the sport. Unlike 20 years ago, now anybody can just go through a smartphone and have a lot of information that you need, like just where to ride or whom to ask about the details about the sport. And also access to bicycles. Now in India, you can get quality mountain bikes very, very easily. You can just walk into a good bike shop and you'll get a good mountain bike. And that wasn't there back in the day, which is why the growth was a little slow. But now if you see in 2021, everything is available in India. So for a kid to get onto a mountain bike and pursue the sport, it's going to be it's pretty easy now. So I think the future is. So
what has been the craziest ride for you this past?
The craziest ride, I feel, like most of these rides, they all, I can remember most of these rides. 95% of the stuff I've done in the past, I remember most of those rides. And especially when I look at those photographs or the video clips, I can remember everything I was doing on that particular line, and I can remember all of it. I feel every location has its own, has its own thing imprinted in me. So if we had to speak of what was going on in India, I would say, the rides I've done in Spiti or in Ladakh, or even in there are many places I've ridden in Tamil Nadu, which are very memorable. And of course, Pune, the thing is, the hills where I started doing what I'm, my riding, those rides are very, very memorable. They need not be, something very, very crazy stuff that I did or anything, but it was just like simple rides with certain friends that I had at the time. Those are like really memorable. So I think, those are like the cool things, and eventually go and ride with them in Canada and in other places. So I feel that definitely stands out in my mind, because the people that I like these people that I was seeing in the videos, and I was looking up, I grew up looking up to these riders, and some of the trails and features and jumps that they built, I used to watch those things, and I was like, oh, this is so cool. And I used to emulate that in India, and eventually getting the opportunity to ride with them and learn from them, and living with them and riding and touring with them across the mountains there. I feel those things. I think those would be like some pretty interesting moments for me in mountain biking.
You've got very many happy memories, right? So, what are the places that you
Yeah,
have
yeah, yeah.
done? What are where all have you done mountain biking? What are the places?
In um, so in India, I think I would in most of the places, right from Ladakh and Spiti up till I've even ridden in Kerala, in Tamil Nadu, Karnataka, even in
Wow.
the northeast, in Meghalaya, in Nagaland, uh, even in Arunachal Pradesh. Like we have even in Rajasthan actually. So pretty much, I think most of the places in India I have you know visited and ridden my mountain bike there. Um, and I feel like India has like so many things to offer. Having ridden
Right.
in some of the best places in the world, like I would say Canada has like the best places to ride actually, because that's the place where mainly like free ride mountain biking, which I am more inclined towards. So free ride mountain biking, it pretty much stemmed it started happening in Canada mainly. Of course, even in
Right.
other European places, but Canada was kind of like on the forefront when it was happening. So even and after having ridden there and having ridden in other places, even in Nepal or in Indonesia and all these places, when I ride in India, we have everything. We have coastal stuff, we have really high altitude things, we have extremely rainy locations where we can go ride. We can, we have like super bouldery places in Karnataka, and of course, Maharashtra has some crazy kind of places because we have, like the Deccan Plateau is really cool. And I started riding here, so I think. In India, I've ridden like in a lot of places, but still there's so much more to ride because it's yeah, there's a lot more to ride in India. It's just it's still I feel it's just probably we've just like scratched the it's not even like gotten
Surface.
deep into what India has. Yeah, there's so much to ride, and
Hmm.
even now I would say uh, from the bicycle, uh, the number of people who have bicycles in India,
Yeah.
I think only 1%, or not even one actually, maybe like 0.000 something percent of people have taken their bikes and gone on a hill and ridden. Like 500 people or 1,000 or 2,000 or 3,000 people in India who may have picked up a mountain bike or any bicycle and gone on a hill and had a good time. I think in today's day, in 2021, I'm sure there are at least like 2-3,000 people who've gone on a hill and had a good time riding a bike on a hill. And compared to the number of people we have, the population we have, it's just a fraction. And the kind of terrain we have in India, it is not even touched yet. So you can imagine if we have 30% of our population indulging in this sport, it'll be so different. So so
What are
I
the
think, yeah,
physical
I think
ramifications?
um the good part is it's a very good workout for you, because riding a bicycle is going to be like the perfect thing. It's going to give you like an overall fitness thing, like your legs are working out, your shoulders and everything, even pretty much like you're doing a cardio when you're riding a bicycle. So that's one of the good things. And if you go specific into freeride mountain biking, what I do, or even downhill mountain biking that I do a lot, is you're gonna carry your bike on your back and you walk up the hill. So
Wow.
you are really doing a lot of workout, and
You
that's one of the things that's going on. And
hang on. You
yeah,
actually carry your bike on your shoulder up to the hill just so that you can ride it and come
that's
down.
that's right. Yeah. So pretty much the bigger lines that I would ride, it would take me around an hour and a half, 2 hours to walk up with my bike on my back. Of course, I'll take a couple of breaks during that walk up. And the ride down would be around maybe a minute or maybe 2 minutes,
Oh,
maybe.
geez.
The climb up
Okay.
was, like, yeah. So, but the thing is, to enjoy that 2 minutes, you need to take your bike up, unless you have choppers that can give you like a heli drop thing, which actually even happens in Nepal right now. In India, I don't think the bicycle ferrying thing, all that, is not yet started here.
Crazy. So how often are you out biking? And do you watch out for like any weather conditions before you do this?
Um, So lately, I've been riding at least once a week, with all my work and everything, and traveling and stuff. So it'll usually be once a week at least. Uh, but earlier, when I was in, I would, if like maybe 10 years ago, it would be at least 3 to 4 times a week. Because you really need to be spending more time on your bike to be one with the bike. So the more you
Hmm.
ride, the better you're going to be on your bike. Because traveling to a new place where I'm solely visiting just to ride, then it's pretty much, I would say, six days a week. I'll be on the hill riding. So if I'm visiting any of the, if I'm going to Bengaluru, or if I'm going to Ladakh or Spiti or anything, I would try to ride as much.
How has biking transformed you as a human? What has it added to you?
Um, I feel it allows me to balance a lot of things in life.
Hmm.
I would say it also, it makes you humble. I feel, because when you are riding on a big mountain, is when you realize that you are tiny, like you're no one. When you're riding on a mountain,
Yeah.
you are you're putting yourself into many situations where you would just realize that you're just another human who's just, you're a pretty tiny human in this whole thing. And I feel that's something that mountain biking has definitely, I would say, taught me. And also I feel having this, the drive of, I feel, of being more optimistic about things. That's something I feel mountain biking has taught me, because whenever you're trying to push yourself, riding a bike, doing something very, very, risky and things, uh, you don't really stress out a lot about the negative part of that entire thing that you're going to do. Of course, you will consider the negative parts as well, but you would pretty much allow the positive things that can happen. Even with my business, when it is something to do with certain decisions that I need to make in my business, I would pretty much have these things where, small things, like you fall, you get up. It's unless you really, take the risk of jumping that cliff, you're not going to know how it's
So,
going to feel.
can we come to some quick fire
The quick
questions?
ones, okay, yeah, let's do that, yeah.
So, to start with, when we got onto the call, I realized that you had a lot of pets at home. So, would you like to tell us about your animal kingdom at home?
So currently, I think, with the new kittens, yeah, I should have at least 12, yeah, I think 14 cats now, including the newborn ones that are 2 day old. So yeah, I think 14
Hmm.
cats now. And I have one dog inside the house, and then I have like at least five strays that that I feed outside the house. Like they come every day. And So this is, yeah, like that's the thing. And I actually have like two more dogs at the other place where I always keep my bikes and everything. So even those dogs, they live inside my house. So yeah, so yeah, I have like a lot of cats and dogs that I spend a lot of time with. So yeah.
Lovely. And what is life going to be after 40 for you?
Like see, I feel like, yeah, as in I feel like these are just numbers.
Hmm.
Life is, it's as you're as old as you think you are. So pretty much for me, I still feel like I'm maybe 14-year-old or 13-year-old. I still feel like I'm there. Like my mind is still there. And it's just, I feel this entire thing with, how is life going to be after 40? I think it's just going to be on my, on my passport. Like, okay, fine. Now you're 41 or you're 42. It's just on the ID. Otherwise, that thing, it doesn't even, I feel it doesn't even matter. It's just as old as you think you are. So yeah.
You're a businessman and you have your own company, you make your own bikes, and you're also an editor of a magazine, which makes you a very eligible bachelor. So, what about girlfriends?
um the thing is, like, I feel like right now I'm single, and I feel it's it's a lot of you can do a lot more when when you're just focused on a few things that you have in life. And I feel um having having a partner, of course, it's very good for some people. Like personally, I feel I'm a little more I can't give my mind to a lot of multiple things. So for me, it is, I have so many things going on with my work and with my writing, and with
Hmm.
those kind of things. I feel yeah, it's more fun
So,
staying single.
if not riding, then what would you be doing? Your favorite pastime?
um well, I like filmmaking and editing and photography and things like that. So that takes up a lot of my time when I'm not riding my bike. And I
Hmm.
am pretty fortunate to actually have all these things, as these are my jobs. Like I'm a professional filmmaker as well. So pretty much that's something I actually like to do. And same
Hmm.
ways, even you know the entire thing about bicycles, right? Like the machine itself is something that is very interesting to me, and that also is that's my profession. So in a way, when I'm not riding my bike, I am usually trying to research a lot about bicycles, and I'm trying to find a lot about how about filmmaking. And I would either be shooting some project, or I'll be looking at the project done by some other filmmaker, and try to learn from that. So I think when I'm not riding my bike, these are the things that I'm usually doing. And of course, spending a lot of time with my with all my cats and dogs. And I actually like to spend a lot of my time in my house with my with my folks.
What is your favorite bike? Which one is your favorite bike?
um s- well, I would say any bike that I have at that moment, which allows me to ride,
I
is
think that's
my
your
favorite.
favorite.
That's my favorite bike.
Your favorite food.
um it's just home food. Most of the things, yeah, just I like I like just roti with some rajma or chana, or I like rice with some sambar. I'm being a Mallu. For me, like the Malayali food is really, yeah, I just like that a lot. And at home, that's what I would have most of the time. So it's sambar and rice, with some papad and things like that. So that's something like I really.
So, given the chance, what would you do differently about your life?
I wouldn't change anything, because I feel whatever I have done all these years has made me the person that I am now, and I'm pretty stoked on that. Uh, because quite a few things that I would be, thinking of when I was, 17, 18, that, oh, I need to do this, I need to do these
Hmm.
things, and I have been able to kind of do those things. Right, with riding, with kind of like right now, it's still, the journey is still on, I feel, and I feel there's not, I don't think there's anything I need to change in my past to make me a different, in a different thing, because
Human.
because I think so I wouldn't really change anything. I think it's been pretty cool.
There are very few people who are satisfied with their life the way it is. That's actually wonderful. So, what is your inspiration? My last question. What inspires Vinay Menon?
Um, I would take inspiration from anybody and anything and any situation, actually, because it's definitely, there are athletes that I really look up to, and I try to see
Right.
how they have done what they've done. Same ways,
Hmm.
when I'm looking at my work, I would look at a certain person in that industry and be like, okay, this is how this person has done it, so okay, that's interesting. But bottom line, I feel, is anybody and any situation has inspired me, because even when I'm looking at a squirrel do certain thing on a tree, I'm actually observing that squirrel, and I'm like, okay, this little squirrel is doing certain things, and that's actually inspiring me to do certain things in my life. Definitely, yeah, there are a lot of people that I really look up to in my sport, and I am really fortunate to call them my friends now, because these guys, like, I really admire the way they grew up in the sport, and I'm still
Name
nowhere
two.
close to what they do.
Name two.
Uh, well, in free riding, I definitely grew up. I would say Josh Bender is one of the guys who was on the forefront of doing some really big moves 20, 25 years ago. Then I would say people like Brett Tippy, Wade Simmons, and Dan Cowan. Uh, these people have definitely, these people are the ones uh, who really created the entire deal with this entire thing with free riding. So I feel they are the ones who I grew up watching in on these VHS tapes, or watching just teasers somewhere on a 56 kbps internet connection back in the days.
Hmm. You are truly a child of this earth and nature.
Well, yeah, that'd be, yeah, okay.
Yeah. It's been a pleasure meeting you and talking to you, Vinay. Thank you so much for taking the
Thanks,
time and
thanks a ton,
coming on
Sanjana,
my.
for being here, and it was fun talking to you, and yeah, I just recollected a lot of my riding incidents and everything just speaking to you. So yeah, this is nice, nice, good.